To the Mind's Eye with Mike Lowry. I have another good one for you today. I have a special guest by the name of Candace Councils. Today we're going to be talking about what it means to forgive and not forget. Stay tuned.
Well, Candace, thank you for coming on the show.
Definitely,
How are you? How's everything, going for you?
because I have to be honest with you. Here we go. Here we go. Our little powwow talks. I'm doing okay. Like last week I had like a sinus infection, and so
Okay.
with like this whole COVID stuff, I just kind of feel like I'm kind of nervous. I still got to get like a COVID test because I can't smell and taste. So
Oh wow.
anyway, I'm doing much better than I was. So I was out like last week of work and stuff, but I'm doing much better now. I'm trying to like pace myself, and like
Okay. That's good.
just relax and take my time, stay masked up and everything. So yeah.
That's
But
good. I'll
I'm
be
doing
glad
good.
when this is over.
Me too. Me too. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm just maintaining, dodging the bullet as best I can, you know, staying prayed up through everything. It's the
Yeah.
best tool for everything that we got going on. But
Amen.
yeah, I'm glad you're here. I had to wanted to talk to you about some things and kind of pick your brain and see what you thought about it, and basically kind of like talking about like forgiveness and
Right.
the importance of forgiveness, but not forgetting. Um,
Yeah.
is there a particular time that you know about, or how you feel about forgiveness and what it's done for you in your past?
Man, there's so many different situations, I guess, that I could bring up when it comes to forgiveness. But I think about
Like
that
so
I can talk
for like
about.
forgiveness for me, like I like there's a lot of people in my life that I had to forgive.
Okay,
As far as for me to move on, with
right.
myself. Like, you can look at situations on the surface and see that you may be doing good, like on the outside, but
Hmm.
you're still holding on to things, in your past that's keeping you from not necessarily like financial growth, but also
Right,
like your, maybe your spiritual growth or your mental health or what
right,
have
right.
you.
Yeah.
So it's funny, like, because I was reading something about like Quentin Tarantino, and like how like he's a writer, a
Yeah.
filmmaker, and like he wrote like Kill Bill, all those, stuff like that. And what's
Right.
crazy, he tells a story about his mom growing up that always shut down his dream, like always like kind of took it away, that he couldn't be a writer, he would never do it, he should
Mhm.
stop doing that. And he started writing when he was like a kid,
Right.
and he never stopped. So obviously, as we know now, he's a multi-millionaire, a director and a filmmaker, and
Right.
he's never let his mom see any of his money because of what she did, or what she didn't do rather, growing
Right.
up. And that was like triggered me, like, dang, like even with his success, he's still holding on to that pain and hurt
Hmm.
that his mom gave him, so many years ago. So
Yeah.
even if he's extremely successful, then he still may be dealing with emotional things that could be mentally holding him back.
Right.
So I thought that was interesting because, like, surface, he's making all this money, but
But internally, yeah. That
internally,
makes
he
a
could
lot
be
of
really
sense.
doing something with
Well,
something.
you got my memory jogging now. So I could think of so many different ones. But I guess I'll talk about like friendships for today and then maybe go into some other stuff later. But like, as far as friendships, I've always been the type of person that's very like, I'm just taking off my therapist and minister hat today. So and being, transparent. Like I've always been the
Yeah.
person that will hold everything in. Like I just hold it all in. I'll still like smile and hug you and be all cool, but deep down inside, like I'm really tearing up and like hurt by something that somebody did or something somebody said. So like as a therapist and working in my own therapy, I've had to like address the issues because it's like
Right.
literally an elephant in the room. And like, that whole saying where they say like you're drinking poison when you don't forgive somebody. Like you're
Right.
literally, and I feel like I'm the one that has a problem like inside, like even though outwardly I'm showing love and happiness, but
Hmm.
inside I'm really like hurting bad. And I have to be the one to deal with my own emotions, when it comes to me going back home or getting in the car and leaving the situation. And so like I've had to learn how to process my forgiveness, the process, because I feel like growing up, being in, just a believer, I feel like it's always been like in my mind, I've thought, oh yeah, if I forgive them, that means I have to be buddy buddy with them and I have to like,
Right.
be in their face. But literally you don't. You just set those boundaries.
Right.
And it's okay to have like boundaries. It's okay to, speak and then leave, or not be interacting with them, as much as you do. So I've had to learn how to like set boundaries and let the person know, hey, like I really didn't appreciate, what you did. Or I can kind of be like passive aggressive sometimes too, and just kind of say little stuff around the issue versus getting right to the issue. So
Yeah.
I've had to like do a lot of therapy and work on that. And I can say that like that has really helped my relationships a lot, especially when it comes to friendships, because I'm telling people how I really feel versus like holding it in,
Absolutely.
and that kind of helps me with my forgiveness. I can let it go easier if it's addressed. And that kind of like goes into a whole nother topic of like, I think in relationships, we don't sometimes address the issue. Like people push it away. And I think especially true in the Black community too,
Right. But yeah, like you said, as far as like forgiving, like those people, those friendships or what have you, like, and you made a point about like, that doesn't mean you have to necessarily like be all in their face or be all buddy buddy with them, what have you, because that's the idea of like not forgetting what that person may have done to you. Because like, the idea is like forgive but not forget.
Yeah.
If you forget, then you're gonna put yourself in that same situation again.
Yeah.
And you don't want to trust that situation again to like, oh man, how could I let this happen to me again?
Exactly.
But the forgiveness is more so for you than
Right.
it is, from the other person that you need to forgive. So you can move on, you can be free and be, a blessing to other people. But if you holding on to stuff, you can't be your best self.
Yeah, that is so true. I think about that too. Like, I think about it like, the Bag Lady song, like literally carrying baggage around, like because you're just holding on to so much stuff. And it's like when I work with people and sit down with them, people wonder why they can't like think clearly or they can't, get to the next level in life because we're sitting here holding on to everything, literally. You haven't processed childhood trauma, you haven't processed adult relationship trauma. So all this stuff we're just like holding on to inside. And I think forgiveness like really needs to be taught. Like it really does.
Yeah, I agree.
Because, we don't know how to. We just think like everybody has their own idea of it, but I think to go actually to the Bible and kind of see like what it really means and how, God did it. I know Jesus has a whole different definition that we do of forgiveness, and he forgets the sins, but for us we have to be, have boundaries and stuff. So
absolutely. Boundaries are definitely important. Definitely important. Fool me once, shame on you.
Fool me twice,
shame on me. Right?
Right. Yeah.
So what is one of the biggest things that you can feel like your emotions have grown from just forgiving one particular situation? Do you feel like you've set yourself free, or do you feel like it has brought you more joy, or what can you say that you've gained from just forgiving?
Definitely. I feel like lighter. I don't know if you've ever felt like light, like you're not heavy, like you don't let the stuff bother you anymore because you have addressed it. And another thing I'll say is like, even if that person never apologizes or you never get the reaction or the change behavior that you want from that person, I think just doing your own work, and doing your own work looks like, okay, that relationship is going to look different now. I'm not going to be able to come around them as much as I could because their behavior hasn't changed. And you have to just be okay with that in yourself and find like other things to do with other people that are benefiting your life, so every day, like if I'm having a hard day or having trouble like with something or forgiving somebody, I try to look at the brighter side of things or try to look at like who is in my life right now that does appreciate me, that I can have boundaries with, that I can have a healthy relationship with, so I feel lighter and full of joy. Like I can really like think clearly and breathe, because I know like I've done what God has told me to do. I've forgiven him. I've let it go. And so, and the other thing is like letting go is a process too, right? Because it's like remember when you think about that person, you remember what they did.
Mhm.
But you have to ask God to come into your heart and ask God like how to let it go. And some things that I've done to let things go are like write it down and burn it up on a piece of paper. Write it down on a piece of paper,
Right.
burn up the whatever they did and pray about it. Like, God, please, like help me to let this go. And it's not just
Yeah.
a one-time thing. Like you have to keep
For
doing that.
sure. That's a process.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So that's kind of some things that I do.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing is like you do remember, the situation,
Right.
but also know that letting it go, letting it release from you,
Yeah.
I feel like I see better, I hear better, like
Right.
my way of thinking is better. Like, and I
Right.
just move forward in life knowing that, I'm free of whatever happened before. Like sometimes I realize like I've had to forgive myself
Hmm.
for certain things that I may have done or decisions that I made that I can look back and was like, I'm beating myself up for something that I did.
Yeah.
When now it's like, I got to let myself go. I got to let myself free of that thing. I was young, I was immature, I was,
Right.
it was the environment or whatever the case may be.
Mhm.
But just letting it go is much better life mentally.
Right.
And I think that's the biggest thing. The
Yeah.
biggest thing.
Definitely. And you free your mind up like from all the stuff. Cause I mean, like it's already enough living every day, right? So
Yeah.
like
Right.
to hold on to stuff and like recollections of things people did wrong and all that, like that just takes too much
Mhm.
time. But honestly, like you can feel the people that don't really let stuff go. And you know who they
Right.
are.
Mhm.
That they just sit there and fester on stuff instead of like letting it go. And they're really like cutting time off their life.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Stress is
Literally.
real.
Yeah.
Unnecessary stress is just unnecessary. Right.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. Yeah. You just
Definitely.
for no reason. And then, that goes into like causing other issues like
Hmm.
diseases and other things,
Yeah.
you know.
Your relationships, how your emotions and what you're still holding on to can affect your friendships, male or female, or, whatever, dating, whatever, your relationship with your kids. You
Right.
know what I mean?
Exactly.
So it's a trickle down effect. But
Right.
yeah. Well,
Yeah.
Candace, thank you so much. I
Yes.
appreciate everything you do each and every day. This is
I
awesome.
appreciate you.
It's good to help the world.
Yes, please, please. Yes, I would love to come back and talk some more and chop it up. So this is good. I hope we continue to have these deep conversations with people. Like I think it's definitely needed. People need to talk about stuff that we really don't want to talk about. So that's
Absolutely.
good that you're bringing it up. Thank you for having
Absolutely.
me.
Thank you for being here.
Awesome. All righty.
Bye. All
That
right.
concludes the episode about what it means to forgive and not forget. Please don't forget to like, share, subscribe. See you soon.